WABC New York, 1071 WLIR Hampton Bays. 77 WABC News starts now.
77 WABC News, 59 past the hour. It's 42 and cloudy on this Sunday, March 23rd. Good evening. I'm Liz Radabati. Days after another sinkhole opened up in Morris County, U.S. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy toured the site with Governor Phil Murphy. 3 sinkholes in 4 months along I-80 is troubling officials, and Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says he's ready to help fix the problem.
We're going to do all that we can on the federal side to provide assistance and aid to New Jersey to make sure you get the help that you need.
They're hoping to reopen I-80's westbound lanes within the week, but the eastbound lanes are expected to take much longer. To help alleviate commuters, those impacted by the sinkhole are being offered a 50% discount on NJ Transit while repairs continue. Some relief for the pro-congestion pricing crowd. The Trump administration is extending the deadline to bring an end to the program, leaving the fate of the toll in limbo. While some celebrated the delay, others took the time to speak out against the plan. New Jersey Congressman and gubernatorial candidate Josh Gottheimer says he'll work with the state attorney general to pursue every possible legal option if the MTA keeps the cameras on.
The MTA in New York haven't shown an ounce of interest so far in complying with the directive. Instead, they're grasping for straws, right? Ignoring the directive and the harsh reality that the congestion tax is punishing hardworking middle-class families.
Meanwhile, New York Governor Kathy Hochul does not appear concerned about warnings from the Trump White House to take away federal funding if the governor doesn't shut down the program. At a rally on Friday morning, Hochul says there's always going to be threats from Washington, but says she feels confident there will be a path forward with congestion pricing. The National Transportation Safety Board says 15 New York and New Jersey bridges should be inspected. Jeff McKinney has more.
The NTSB is recommending the bridges be inspected in order to gauge their risk of collapse in the event of a ship collision. There's a nationwide call to check the collision worthiness of bridges after a ship last year struck the Key Bridge in Baltimore Harbor. 6 people died. The NTSB is stressing that the bridges recommended for inspection are not being identified as being at imminent risk of collapse. Rather, the risk should be assessed. The bridges recommended for inspection include the Brooklyn, Manhattan, Williamsburg, Verrazano, and George Washington bridges. Jeff McKinney, 77 WABC News.
Detained Columbia University grad student Mahmoud Khalil appeared in Louisiana court on Friday. The brief hearing was only about scheduling in his immigration case. The 30-year-old sat alone with his lawyers appearing in the court on video. Khalil's attorney asked for more time to prepare his case. The judge scheduled the next hearing for April 8th. The activist was arrested back on March 8th after serving as a spokesperson for pro-Palestinian demonstrators who occupied a campus building last spring. Khalil has no criminal record, has yet to be formally charged with any crime. Court documents are revealing more about the case against the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students in 2022. Prosecutors plan to introduce evidence of Brian Kohberger's shopping on Amazon. Kohberger reportedly purchased a military-style knife with a fixed blade just before the killing. A knife sheath was found next to one of the victims, but the knife was not recovered. Prosecutors also plan to introduce a selfie taken hours after the killings that show Kohberger smiling with a thumbs-up gesture. The trial is scheduled for August. A measles outbreak in West Texas has now surpassed the total number of cases seen nationwide all of last year. Health experts say that's a pretty big deal.
Outbreaks like the one currently in Texas and New Mexico with so many patients infected are very uncommon.
Dr. Donald Karcher heads the College of American Pathologists. The latest numbers from Texas Health and Human Services show 309 confirmed cases of measles, and in neighboring New Mexico, also 42 cases. Put together, this outbreak has surpassed last year's nationwide total, which was fewer than 300. The death toll, though, does remain at 2. New York City is missing the Canadians who vacation here. Noam Layden has more.
There are a lot of signs that some Canadian tourists are changing their plans to visit New York City and going elsewhere amid President Trump's trade war with Canada. Matt Levy tells WABC that his Big Apple tour company has taken a big hit just over the last few weeks.
It's been calamitous. I grossed $35,000 from Canadian high school groups. This year it's $5,000 and dropping. I get 1 to a half dozen cancellations every week.
Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, has encouraged Canadians to travel within their own country now. Noam Layton, WABC News. There's a new idea to help bring down grocery costs. Congressman Henry Cuellar wants the Trump administration to allow the import of eggs from Mexico.
We need to work with Mexico so we can get more egg imports into the U.S. than we are.
He says if you go across the border from his South Texas district, it costs about $4 for a carton of 30 eggs. If imports are allowed, he says it would solve the domestic supply issue caused by the bird flu. But the plan comes at a time when relations with Mexico are strained. There is a 25% tariff on most goods. Now your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. Tonight and overnight, scattered showers, low of 40. Tomorrow, rain and a high of 54. Looking ahead to Tuesday, sun comes out, high of 55. Anthony Cumia show coming up next, 42 and cloudy outside our Midtown studios. I'm Liz Radabali. News never stops. WABCRadio.com.
Is the Anthony Cumia Show. Whipping out the First Amendment and holstering the Second. And again, we're asking, when you cross the line.
Oh, yeah. Here we are. The Anthony Cumia Show back on. What's this, my third week? They haven't figured it out yet. They're not quite on to me yet. That's nice to know. I keep waiting for the text, the phone call. My boss over there. This isn't one of those shock jock things where I go, oh, my boss, it's crazy. My boss over there, he texts me. You know, there are things to do, things I have to do, meetings and whatnot. And every so often, he'll text me, and I just get dread. This feeling of dread pours through me. My broadcast radio boss needs me to call him. And here's the thing. He doesn't say, hey, Anthony, how's the day going? Oh, when you get a chance, could you give me a call? No problems, nothing big, just want to talk about something. It's like, call me when you get a minute. Oh, Christ. I've been through this before. If you've done any background check on Anthony Cumia, the Opie and Anthony Show, Sirius XM satellite radio, it runs the gamut. Every single thing bad that's ever happened in my career has started with one of my bosses going, hey, give me a call. So I'm a little shell-shocked, gun-shy. I'm like that World War I vet. You take a picture of him and you're like, that kid's 19 years old. He looks 60. It's because he's been through it, been through the ringer. I've been through the ringer. I get a little, shaky when the boss calls me. And 3 weeks, though. So I'm back on. Unless they yanked me during the middle of the show, knock wood, we're doing pretty good. How's everybody else? Hope you had a great week and a great weekend. Spring is in the air, so I hear. I'm not going to do a weather break. No time and temps here, even though it is, for the most part, amplitude modulation. I did want to talk a little bit. First, I got to let everybody know that Steve Grillo from the Howard Stern Show, he's waiting. He's waiting in the wings. We're going to be talking about his gig as intern. Those internships over at Stern lasted forever. So it's always an interesting thing to talk to some of the people that were over there. But Steve was there during those years that were known to this day as the greatest years of the Howard Stern Show. Greatest years of the greatest radio show ever. And he was part of that. And he's got the gall to bitch about it in a book now called Gorilla Parts. All these guys. I love Steve. He bailed me out, or he backed me up. He had my back at the Comedy Cellar in New York City one night. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about other things in a little bit. Sit tight.
Steve will be with you shortly. But first thing I want to talk about is, again, more of these celebrities are ruining everything, ruining movies, TV shows, music. And I've talked about this before. I apologize. The over the course of the years, we remember these people as not having political opinions, and it was great. You don't want to hear them. You don't want their art tainted. You don't want what you love watching them for, movies and TV shows and listening to the music. You don't want to watch and then go, oh, right, this jerk, this guy. But boy, there's no getting away from it these days, is there? No getting away from it. They all seem like just pieces of crap. And it's hard to imagine how does a community like the Hollywood people, and I know it's not just Hollywood anymore, it's spread all over the world, a lot of these people, but they come together and they work under this umbrella of what's still called Hollywood. And they all have the same mindset. And it starts really getting you to believe these conspiracy theories that are they in some weird cabal? Is there a cult? Do they have to go through what are called shame rituals? Where you see some of these A-list celebrities come out on award shows wearing a loincloth and everyone laughs. Did some entity, some conglomerate at the top of the pyramid say, this guy needs a little wake-up call? He's been giving us some problems. Let's make him walk out on the Academy Awards wearing nothing, covering himself with a little cue card in front of his naughty bits. And these are called shame rituals. So there's all this stuff that goes on that, and believe me, I am a logical, reasonable fella. Do not Google me. But I feel I'm a logical, reasonable fellow. And all you see are these Hollywood people doing things of the same mindset that gets you thinking maybe there is something to this whole conspiratorial thing. Adrenochrome, where they extract the blood of youngsters while they are terrorized and then use that as some kind of serum to stay young. I don't know. Years ago, I would have told anyone they were, I was going to say but they were crazy for suggesting that. But today, in 2025, who the hell am I? This is me being like humble. I'm saying, who am I to dispute that? To say, oh, you're crazy. With everything we've seen over the course of the years, I am willing to at least give anything the benefit of the doubt. And when it comes to these Hollywood people and what they're up to, it's just too much of a coincidence that every single one of them has the identical political ideology. They feel compelled to tell average Americans how they should live their lives from their, gated communities, away from all the minorities or illegal aliens or anyone else that they believe you should live near. All that diversity they talk about, the wonderful diversity, our greatest strength, as they put it. You'd be hard-pressed to find one of them that lives anywhere near the diversity that they profess to adore that makes our country so strong. So a lot of these people, they just come out of the woodwork and you enjoyed them, and then you see they're just garbage. John Hamm has been one. De Niro is a classic example. George Clooney. But there's this guy, Stephen Graham. He's an actor. He was in Band of Brothers and Boardwalk Empire, The Irishman. And he's a great actor. And I was like, oh, no. They put him in this new thing called the Adolescence. That's it. Netflix put out a thing called Adolescence. And I'm like, another great actor that is put in one of these real PC movies. And then I find out he wrote the damn thing. I'm like, oh, no, he's also one of them. It's like Invasion of the Body Snatchers. You find out they slept next to a bean pod and they wake up in their jerk-offs. So this guy's in that, and this kind of goes to something that I think anyone can agree with. Over the course of the week, things will just piss you off. We've all been through them. And I have a couple of things that have gotten me a little miffed over the course of the week. One of these is the Netflix show Adolescence. This is a show based on a real crime that took place. A young black teen killed a classmate, a girl. And this is something that was big in the news. A lot of knife crime in the UK. This took place in the UK. A lot of knife crime. Machete fights. I've never seen a machete fight. And now you go through social media, you'll be watching machete fights over there in the UK. And then Netflix decides to use it as a basis for their based on a true story show, Adolescence. And you find out it was a young black teen. And what do? They cast the most angelic looking white kid in this role. And I've talked all the time about how they trade races in certain roles. But you'd be very hard pressed to see a white person that is a criminal, committed crime, a horrible person, and then they recast it as a black person in the reboot. So this kind of bugged me because I see it all the time in commercials. You know, they make people, they make the white dudes look like idiots. Straight white guys. I mean, you are really the garbage of the world right now, and yeah, it's not fun to watch if you fall into that category. I'll tell you that much. The other thing was Jimmy Kimmel. That annoyed me. Kimmel, he's talking about Elon Musk and the Teslas being vandalized all over the country. This is a thing. And the Democrats call it a protest. Oh, no, this is a protest. But they're literally destroying property, endangering lives. Anytime you resort to arson, you don't know if somebody's going to get hurt. Firemen go in there, and even if they have a heart attack, you will be charged with that person's death in some way, shape, or form. So Jimmy Kimmel, here's Kimmel ragging on Elon during his show, and then the audience kind of laughs and applauds while they listen to Elon speak. Watch a little of this. It's disgusting, is what it is.
Even incidents of arson, someone lit a bunch of Teslas on fire. And here's the thing, I get that people are upset. Burning a car might not be great for the environment. I don't think that's what they had in mind when they invented the electric car. In Las Vegas yesterday, someone threw a Molotov cocktail at a Tesla service center. At least 5 Teslas blew up, 1 from the Molotov and 4 because that's just what Teslas do sometimes. And no one should be setting fires. You could kill somebody, you could hurt somebody. Elon Musk might not care about other people, but decent Americans should. The world's richest man has been trying to drum up sympathy for himself lately. His sales are down, his stock is down. Last night he was somber as he went through this with Sean Hannity.
Tesla is a peaceful company. We've never done anything awful. I've never done anything awful. I've only done productive things. So I think we just have a deranged... there's some kind of mental illness thing going on here because this doesn't make any sense.
Well, let me see if I can explain it for you.
When you pull right here, because the audience is laughing at his cadence, the way Elon talks. Yes, sorry, the guy's a genius. Sorry, he might be on the spectrum. Ask any liberal. You know, if anybody made fun of somebody with any kind of a mental problem or autism or you're on the spectrum, there'd be hell to pay. This guy, who's obviously brilliant, there's no denying this guy is brilliant. He plucked 2 stranded astronauts out of outer space and brought them back home, whereas no one else could have done that at the time unless we paid some Ruskies a few rubles to bring them back. But no American company could have brought him back. SpaceX did that. The guy's brilliant. Sorry, he doesn't speak like you do when you're talking about LGBTQ rights and how horrible Trump is. Maybe he doesn't have that delivery because he's got brilliant stuff going on in his head. These people are so damn annoying. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. Don't go anywhere. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
This is the Anthony Cumia Show. This is Judge Janine Pirro with an important message. A mom and her son were being followed by a man in a parking lot. As he approached their car, she pulled out her Byrna launcher, and the sight of it was enough to make him flee. Byrna gives you the power to protect your family without lethal force. No permits, no background checks, just peace of mind. Visit Byrna.com and use code Janine for 10% off. Remember, Byrna isn't legal in New York City or Yonkers. Stay safe, stay prepared with Byrna. Donate now to Toys for Tots, working year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program, established in 2008, has provided over 60 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org. The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Hello, I'm Mike Huckabee. President Trump has made history and is back in the White House. And your kids need to know what this means for their future and our country. That's why they need the Kids Guide to President Trump. This fun guide will teach your kids all about President Trump's accomplishments and his plan to save America and make it great again. And right now, I want you to have it for free. To order, visit TrumpForKids.com. That's TrumpForKids.com. Visit TrumpForKids.com now.
For premium hand-rolled cigars, blended by some of the best master blenders in the industry, using the finest aged tobacco from Nicaragua, with 4 different blends and complexities to satisfy any palate. Try my favorite, My Patriot Cigar Company. Get the Patriot Cigar 5-cigar sampler pack free when you spend $100 or more using promo code STONE. 5 free cigars on orders over $100 with free shipping. MyPatriotCigars.com, promo code STONE. That's MyPatriotCigars.com. A premium smoke for freedom-loving patriots.
In times of emergency, AM radio could be your only source of information.
Manufacturers like Tesla and several other car companies are getting rid of AM radio.
AM radio is a part of the emergency alert system. Here's former Vice President Mike Pence about AM radio.
Talk radio on WABC and elsewhere around the country all took off, and it's become a meeting place for the American people. It's where we come together, we get information, making sure that these new electric vehicles include FM and AM as well as all the other new technology, I think is a real priority for the free flow of information in America.
Write your representative today. Go to saveamradio.com. Sign the petition. Go to saveamradio.com.
This place has a pulse. You hear it in the canopy, feel it in the ground. Life, fully illuminated, engulfs you. From the birds singing in the treetops above to the tiniest insects in the soil below, you take a deep, cleansing breath, filling your lungs with the essence of the forest. Now, imagine it's all gone. Healthy, life-giving forests reduced to nothing. No singing birds, no lush canopy, and water and food in short supply around the world. Time is running out to protect our forests, and without our love, they can and will disappear. It's our choice. Love it or lose it. Help protect our forests. Visit World Wildlife Fund at wwf.org/love.
Alec and Hilaria Baldwin on the red carpet of their new reality show, The Baldwins.
You want more of this? Season 2?
The Hilaria Show.
No, I
I think we're gonna see. We're gonna see how it feels to have it be out there. This
You're a winner.
Oh my God! When I'm talking, you're not talking. No, when I'm talking, you're not talking. This is why. Yes, we'll have to just cut him out of the show. No, I mean, I think this is a really raw show, and it's very real, and we took a lot of chances. Oh my God! When I'm talking, you're not talking.
Anthony Cumia Show. The Anthony Cumia Show presents the Clown of the Week.
Oh, yeah. Such a choice this week. Oh, my God. Who do we have? Tim Walz, Adam Schiff, maybe AOC. Ugh. And Bernie getting out there, both of them on stage like they're making a run for the presidency. The president's been in for a few weeks, maybe a month, whatever it's been. Slow down. Slow down. They're already campaigning for president. These Democrats are amazing. So funny to watch. But I think this week we got to make it Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie, who is just a pro at being a clown, she has been for so long now, just telling everyone who and what, who they should hang out with, what they should do. Talking about things like she's an expert on it, where you watch her life literally fall apart. Look, I'm not a doctor, but I don't want to have to diagnose those things that pop up on our lips all the time. Whoa, what the hell is that? I went through some teen acne, but by this point in her life, she probably shouldn't get that unless, well, who knows? I ain't saying nothing. But Rosie is one of those people that put that cold sore ridden mouth, put her money where the cold sore ridden mouth was. She left the United States of America. Yes, a lot of celebrities decided to do this. This is kind of a good thing, I think. I think it's a good thing. We want them gone. And some of them are actually leaving. Rosie did. She went to Ireland, the Emerald Isle. That country isn't going through enough with illegals pouring over their borders. I hear from people that say Dublin is like, if you go to Dublin and you see someone that's actually Irish, it's like they're a tourist. Like you have something in common. Like, oh, look, we're a tourist in this third world country. Where are you from? And they're like, Dublin. And you're like, oh, what happened? Well, we all know what happened. But Rosie decided she's going to move there. And I'm sure she's got plenty of money to move to a great little farm or what have you, be milked twice a day. But she had to leave the United States because of Donald Trump. And then what do? What traitorous garbage do you do? You go on TV and badmouth the United States of America. Listen to Rosie here. Yes. You don't? Oh man. Oh no. It was the Rosie cut of her talking about, well, the first technical difficulty we've ever had. I'll check that, but I'm sure you're right, and I was amiss. She goes on TV and talks about how she couldn't live in America because of their leadership, and starts talking about how horrible Trump is. And Elon, she says that Elon runs the internet. That's what she's saying, runs the internet. And that way no one could get a true opinion on the internet or voice their opinions on what's going on. So, again, Rosie is definitively the clown of the week. We got to give her that crown. We're sorry. I think aside from the atomic bomb that dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, those two bombs, Rosie could be the worst thing we've ever dropped on another nation. I apologize. Be right back.
Listen to this podcast now
on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Building Bridges, that which unites us. A thought-provoking new podcast hosted by Michael Hirschman, CEO of Solaviv Group.
I'm Michael Hirschman. Join me as I tackle vital local and national topics that affect the man on the street all the way to the executive suite.
Go to buildingbridges.nyc to watch episodes or download wherever you get your podcasts. Buildingbridges.nyc. Greg Kelly here with an urgent retirement warning. Even as President Trump stands up to China, billionaires are fleeing Wall Street, but I trust the experts at Colonial Metals Group to help you. So visit freegoldguide.com/Kelly or call 800-655-5186 for your free gold guide on how to bulletproof your IRA and 401k with tax-free gold. You can also qualify for a free home safe and as much as $7,500 in free silver. Once again, that's freegoldguide.com/Kelly.
77 WABC, the crown jewel of talk radio. Heard worldwide in 173 countries and all 50 states. WABC is committed to live and local radio 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. See what 77 WABC can do for you and your business. Call 929-552-7175 and advertise with 77 WABC.
Greetings to you. This is the frequency. Larry Harrison with you.
All American customers, you were listening to Rush Limbaugh.
Get on my phone. This is how it goes now.
When you fell in love with radio.
The views and opinions expressed by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the policies or positions of WABC Radio, its management, or its sponsors. When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for kids, teens, or young adults. It's just not.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals and volatile organic compounds into your body.
And nicotine, the same highly addictive substance found in regular cigarettes.
Nicotine can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
Affecting learning, memory, attention, and impulse control, and priming the brain for other addictions. Vaping products also come in kid-friendly flavors that can make them appealing to youth.
And many kids also use other drugs, like marijuana, in vaping devices.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media.
Many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping, because when you talk, they hear you.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Whipping out free speech.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Anthony Cumia Show. Appreciate your support, people. Our guest this evening, he's got a new book out called Gorilla Parts. And Steve was with the Howard Stern Show. God, was it 91 to 98? Like 7 years during the chunk of that Stern Show that was just golden. Golden. His new book is Gorilla Parts. I want to put this out before we even start talking so we get some people on the line. You want to call up? You want to say anything? You want to talk to Steve, me, talk about anything I've spoken about tonight? 800-848-9222. 800-848-9222. We'll take your calls tonight. Steve, how the hell are you, man?
Did you wait your... Oh, sorry. We're on regular radio. All right, my bad. Dump. Anthony, I'm so sorry. I've been doing podcasts. I've been doing podcasts all week. My apologies. Blame your producer for not reminding me.
Steve, hold on, Steve. Hold on.
I'm so sorry,
This
Anthony.
is hilarious. This is a guy who probably
was on the most watched, and I don't mean watched by like TV or anything, but watched by groups that were trying to get Howard in trouble. FCC, obviously, and you dropped the MFer within the first three words.
I forgot that I'm on regular radio, dude.
Brillo.
I'm so sorry, Anthony.
You're going to get me kicked off on my third week?
Send me the bill. I don't know what to tell you. I'm so sorry. I was not. I don't want to throw anybody. Like, well, your staff here is really great. I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus, but I forgot. I've been doing podcasts all week. I apologize.
Have you ever been in a podcast studio that looks like the one you're in?
Yeah, actually, I have.
You did it again.
I did. I actually have.
Steve, look, you're gonna have to calculate your.
I'm done. I got it. I'm on.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
I know you were on Opie's show earlier.
I know. He was supposed to. I did my book signing yesterday.
That's
somebody.
great.
Someone in his family was sick, and he wasn't able to be there. And I understand that family comes first always.
But that's great. Like, well, all I'm saying is, you're in the basement of a beer bar at one point.
Yeah.
Now you're on broadcast radio.
Yes, and you know what? I feel so at home right now.
Obviously, you must drop F-bombs and S-bombs nonstop in your house.
No, yeah, I grew up in an Irish household. What do you want?
Okay, that makes sense. All right, let's take a breath and get into this whole thing. Because
I'm back on terrestrial radio.
Yes, remember this.
I got this.
Think about here's what I do, Steve. I kind of recall when I was having to meet a girlfriend's parents.
Yeah.
And you go over and you still want to sound like you know what you're talking about things, and you want to be yourself, but you cut out a few things.
Yeah,
you don't tell how you have her legs akimbo in the limo.
Yeah, exactly. Our breath still smells.
Breath. We're good. We're on regular.
You want a real quick funny story? My ex-girlfriend, I met her grandfather, who was like the icon of the whole family. He was like dying, and we sat and we watched the news, and we just met, and it was like Shaquille O'Neal went up. It was like the highlights for the news. He dunked it and smashed all the glass, went everywhere, and I jumped up and I said a bunch of bad words. And I got kicked out of the house.
All right.
So I understand. You just don't say those words in front of people.
Yeah,
I understand.
You've watched the George Carlin.
Yes.
7 Dirty Words.
Yes.
I know you've been, dude. You were on the biggest show ever.
I know.
Okay. And I want to get into that.
I apologize.
Hold on. I want to get into that. The first thing I want to say though is I always am indebted to you. Steve,
really?
Wow! Having my back at the Comedy Cellar that night, when the unbelievably strong, muscular, tall Jon Stewart came up and had a problem with me. We were sitting at the bar, we were laughing, having a good time.
Yeah, we were.
And Jon Stewart came in and sat there, and we kind of were face to face for a moment. I go, "Hey, John, how you doing?" And he got mad. He goes, "Oh, really? I know who you are, and I know you've said about me." He just got completely
he was completely repulsed by you, by the way. He was just like, why are you in my face? And I was in the awkward position because it seemed like I introduced you to him. Yeah, because I was already talking to him, and you totally like C-blocked me and jumped in front of me. And was like, "Hi, I'm Anthony," and you ruined the whole thing. It was horrible. I was having a nice time with Jon Stewart, and you had to interject. You had to.
Now, but maybe I'll take that back. That I just get it to you.
But when he was repulsed by you, and
as most people are,
he had a couple of those words that I can't say say to your face. But you, as a complete gentleman, you kept your calm and said, "Hey, listen, we're in this business. It's called show business. Why don't you just take a break? I really like you." That's what you said. I would really like to just like figure this out. And then all of a sudden, 2 of his big friends from goons stood up like it was about to be a 3-on-1.
The only goon I had was you.
That's all you need, brother.
You were my only goon.
Yeah, you want me at your back. Trust me. And but I said, I get a 1-on-1, not a 3-on-1. I'm going to have to stand here and get my boys back. And that's what I did.
You did. You stood up.
Yeah,
I appreciate that. It got me barred from the Comedy Cellar for a little while.
Did it really?
I was then allowed to come back And after that, I had some words with Bill Burr and Cliff Soda Kenny, who does Bill's security.
Yeah, that was back with Dice.
Then I was summarily thrown out of the Comedy Cellar again. And then I came back to talk to Noam, the owner, and he said, maybe you should take a little sabbatical, a little hiatus from the Comedy Cellar.
I like the fact that you like to throw rocks at the beehive. That's your best quality, I think. You know,
they're hypocrites, dude.
Yeah,
they're all hypocrites. Because
I love that Bill Burr is going down hard right now. Hard.
I have read nothing but horrible things about his special, about him. Like, people aren't looking at him like that cutting edge Boston comic anymore. They're going, oh, this is a Disney Star Wars guy that's all of a sudden woke. And, they're not saying nice things about him.
He took the red pill, definitely.
Yeah, the blue pill.
Is it the blue pill?
Yeah, the red pill.
I don't need the blue pill. I'll take the red
pill. I
am
black pill, dude. I've taken the everything sucks black pill. I'm done. I'm done with everything. But speaking of hypocrisy, I want to talk to you about Howard and this book, Gorilla Parts. First of all, why the huge delay in leaving the Stern Show, which it was 98, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and now putting the book out. Like, why?
Here's the deal. I got stories up the wazoo. ABC Radio. Hi, Aunt Doreen. By the my Aunt Doreen, she's blind. This is her TV right now, so she loves you.
God bless.
Aunt Doreen, we love you. I have stories up the butt, you know, and I'm always out telling stories, and everybody's like, "Oh, this is such great stories." And I had one friend, Russ Brunelli, who owned the restaurant Brunelli's. It was on York Avenue. And he would not stop for years. You're crazy, write a book. You're crazy, write a book. What's wrong with you? Write a book. That's great, so write a book. And I'm like, oh, shut up. Nobody cares about anything I have to say. Give me a break. And then I met my co-writer, who's right next to me right now with his son in the studio, Merrick, Jason. We met through a mutual friend, Ron Barba, and just happened to be at a lunch together. And I told a couple of stories, and he was like, those are great. And my friend Ron goes, Jason, why don't you write the book with Steve? And I went, and Jason goes, okay. We met for lunch. 45 minutes later, we had 13 pages, and now we got a full book.
See how that happens? But I was a little curious as to why you didn't decide to do it sooner. Because it had anything to do with,
because I didn't have Jason Huza in my life. That's why. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because I know tell the stories. I can't write the stories. How about that?
I know this, Steve. Sometimes you'll have so many stories, but then you go, I don't want to ruin stuff with this guy, or that guy, or with the business itself.
Oh, I'm sure my family hates me, my friends hate me. You know,
do you have any reservations that doing a tell-all book was going to get you barred from some things you might want to do for a career?
Well, I think I burnt that bridge a long time ago, but I think I have totally burnt it this week in the Post. God bless Michael Kaplan in the New York Post. Word up. That was a good article, guys. Thank you.
That was a good one. Yeah, I read that one. Very, very nice.
I just picture Howard sitting in his basement steaming, and he's not going to do anything about it.
No, not at this point.
Yeah.
It's not the Howard of old. You talk about hypocrisy and stuff.
Oh, man.
The bigot was he always, even back in 91, 92, 93, was he always just enamored with Hollywood and wanting to get into it? And because you saw him when he wasn't on the air, did he have that attitude like, God, I just want to be part of the group, the gang?
I think he was just really happy doing what he was doing. I got to be honest. Like, he didn't give a flying, you know.
Yes,
I think he was just happy actually turning what his dream is into a reality, which he did. You know what I'm saying? He knew he had something different, and I just happened to jump on when he was actually developing it to its perfection.
Yeah,
you understand? It was like at the pinnacle of his genius, I was there. And I think he was just happy doing what he was doing. I think it's what he dreamed, like little Howie playing with the marionettes and stuff like that.
His puppet.
Yeah, his puppets. God, I bet they were sticky as hell.
Disgusting. Disgusting.
Sorry. I didn't say a bad word.
That's good. You're doing good. You're doing good.
I'm so proud of myself right now.
Yeah.
So I think he was just relishing in what he finally created, and it's working. And he didn't care. But the celebrities wound up the coyones, or whatever you want to call them. Can I say balls? Is that okay?
That's okay.
Thank you.
If Sid Rosenberg says it on the morning show, I'm going to say it.
Apparently, Sid was talking about me on the morning show the other day, and I don't even know who he was.
What?
Aunt Doreen told me Sid Rosenberg was talking about you with Bo Dietl. So apparently,
he's the new king of the Jews. He is, I swear to you, the most important Jewish guy in Manhattan and Israel right now.
I don't understand why people would even bother messing with the Jews. You don't mess with the Jews. I'm sorry.
Don't mess with Sid.
Don't mess with Jews.
He's like the army. It's like the Mossad these days.
They'll come after your bank account somewhere.
See, now you're spreading stereotypes and tropes that are going to get me in trouble with the Jerusalem Times.
The Jews are my people, man. Baruch atah Adonai Alachom, Hamotzi Lachamina. I played a Jew on stage. I'm an honorary Jew. I can say what I want.
Steve, another thing about your book and Stern and everything, when I was listening to Howard Stern back on those days when you were there, those years that you were there, I was in construction. Yeah, I was a tin knocker. And I was your what they call P1 listener. From beginning to end, every single day I listened to the show. And here's what me and a lot of other guys that were doing construction on Long Island and New York and many other places thought when we listened to the Howard Stern show. My God, would I love any gig with that radio show.
Yeah.
So when you put a book out like this, you're going to get people, Steve, that go, this ingrate, this piece of garbage. We would have killed to be in that position. And Steve was there. He had a great time. He probably got everything through the show, girls, some cash, whatever, even though I know it was you weren't getting paid for the internship.
I made a fun though.
Oh, no, I know you did.
But the fact
how do you
get paid that isn't right, but yes.
Steve, how do you address the people that would say, like, this guy had the dream job of the 90s. Every guy wanted that gig, and now you're kind of poo-pooing on it. How do you address that?
Yeah, I found that what you just said, like, the hard way this week. I definitely felt that from people, but, you know, the more I think about it, the more I don't care what they think, because you want to know why? What he did was just wrong. And there's no two ways about it. He was making like $2 million a week, and he made sure that I didn't get paid. And I can't, you know, like, I was happy to be there, and it was the most amazing time of my life. But when I look back at it now, it's like, how could you do that? You knew I had no money. Like, you knew that. And I would have taken a bullet for you, and I almost did.
Right.
And and you still didn't have the grace to even think, pay this kid? Or make sure, I make sure I have health insurance?
Steve, here's what happens, though, as far as the money part goes. A lot of people have this misconception about radio and about the Stern Show, especially back then, that you work from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m.
More than that.
You have plenty of time. No, I know, but this is what people think.
Yeah.
And then you have time. You could get another job where it supports you and gets you a place to live and food and everything. They don't understand that was over a full-time job. If you added that up hour-wise, you definitely went into overtime. You were going to his house, working with him on organizing archives, on his books, all
crazy,
this stuff. So people just saw that 4 hours or 5 hours.
My last 2 years, I was literally handcuffed to a copy machine. Okay, he subscribed to a thing called a company called Lucy's, Luce, where any article in the entire country. This is before the internet. Okay.
Wow.
Every week a box would come.
Any mention
full
of him
of articles, and I had to be copied. Okay, and it wasn't just like you took a photocopy. There was a system. Okay. It was a copy for Howard, a copy for Gary, a copy for Tom Chiusano, a copy for Howard's assistant, and then I had to put the special archive paper in. Okay.
What the hell?
Archive paper
this sounds like
it was
obsessive compulsive.
Anthony, it was a nightmare. I want to curse right now so bad. I want to curse. So the archive paper. So that means you did 4 copies, and you had to stop, pull the tray out, put a piece of archive paper in, because archive paper doesn't yellow.
what does he think? In 1,000 years,
Yeah.
someone's going to be trying to vault open and go, "Who was this stern man?"
Yeah, if I get cancer, if I get cancer, I'm suing him because I guarantee you there's something wrong with that archive paper, man.
Probably, or the ink from the printer or something.
So I was chained. So basically, when I walked him down and brought him to the limo, I had to go back up, and I was chained to a copy machine for 2 or 3 hours a day, every day, 5 days a week.
And by the way, you're also taking insane amounts of abuse on the air, which, by the way, again, now a lot of guys that listen to that show, just like me, we're working slobs. We would go, goof on me. I don't care.
You think
I don't care about that.
You think so. And then you get there and it's another story. You know what I'm saying? I remember listening to like John or Ganji on the air, and I'm like, those guys are punks. If I was there, you know what I would say? And the first time I got on there, I was like, humming.
Ed Norton.
Yeah, 100%. And I was like, I should never judge a book again like that, because when you're in the lines, then it is something else. You just don't understand unless you're there. And I was a young, scared kid. I was like 19 years old.
Yeah. I guess that's it. Look, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll take some calls. We'll talk to you a little more.
I'm so happy to be here. You have no idea. Thank you so much.
Grillo, I'm so glad you were the first one to curse on my show. We'll be right back with Steve Grillo. His book, Gorilla Parts, available now. We'll be right back.
Media Show. Hey, it's Joe Piscopo. Picture this. You're sinking into your favorite chair, eyes closed, your turntable playing and creating your private sanctuary away from the chaos. When I spell audio, I spell it Verdant. That's Verdant Audio. Their experts help you select the perfect gear, turntables, headphones, digital streamers, and more. Verdant Audio will build the ideal system for you. No intimidation, just passionate people who love extraordinary sound. Transform your listening experience. Visit verdantaudio.com. Book your consultation today.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. That's cars with a K. Your car can be picked up as soon as the next day. Receive a tax deduction and vacation voucher.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate. This is 77 WABC Newsroom Extra.
Greenpeace is being ordered to pay $660 million to a Texas company over the group's involvement in the Dakota pipeline protests. But Greenpeace International General Counsel Kristen Casper says there will be an appeal.
The fight against big oil is not over today. We know that the law and the truth are on our side.
Energy Transfer Partner attorney Trey Cox says he's pleased with the outcome of the civil case.
We hope this condemnation of Greenpeace will bring some measure of healing and closure to Martin County community and the entire state of North Dakota.
A North Dakota jury found that the environmental group is liable for defamation and for orchestrating criminal behavior at the protests held nearly 10 years ago on the Standing Rock Reservation. Greenpeace has denied the claims and said the lawsuit was aimed at destroying the right to peaceful protest. I'm Lisa Ritchie for 77 WABC News.
Our connections make powerful things happen, uniting individuals and communities. We are Rotary. We are people of action. And together, we turn great ideas into reality by accessing our networks, our experience, and the best of ourselves to make a difference. Around the world, Rotary brings leaders together to build new friendships and to solve problems. Like in Austria, where generations work side by side to build sustainable housing and community centers. In India, volunteers run a mobile blood bank to help provide a steady blood supply for their local community. And in Taiwan, people are working hard to get vulnerable citizens the support and services they need. With over 1 million members, we know what people can do when they come together. Take action with us. Find out more at rotary.org/action. It's the
Anthony Cumia Show. We're back with Steve Grillo, of course, a former intern, former Gunga Din, former assistant to Howard Stern. A lot of craziness that went on back in the 90s. The golden age of the Stern Show is what everyone calls it. Steve, I want to know, because everyone's told a crazy story from the Howard Stern Show. What happened, this, that, something that maybe hasn't been publicized, wasn't in the book, wasn't broadcast live on air. What did you see? Something you saw, you were involved with, that you just look back on and go, oh my God, that was insane.
I will tell you one thing that I always found weird. And, you know, everybody said Howard had cheated. As far as I know, like, is loyal as he says he was to Allison. I kind of believed it, but there was one thing that made me go, what? It was when he was filming Private Parts, and we were shooting out at what you call it? Was it Steiner? Not Steiner Studios. Silver Cup Studios.
Silver Cup, yeah.
And Silver Cup, they made an apartment for him upstairs. So if he we did the radio show till 11 or whatever, and then we did. It was a modified union thing. It was a 10-hour day straight, 10 hours a day straight, and you didn't break. But they gave you food all day. So and then after 10 hours, sometimes Howard could go back home to Allison, or he stayed at the apartment upstairs with Robin. Right. So now Allison, his first wife, Allison. So
Allison.
So again, this is just something I observed. I can't confirm or deny any of this, but you know who they had a PA stay overnight if you decided to stay at the apartment.
Personal assistant.
That was more like a production assistant, but they had someone there just in case he needed something throughout the night, and that intern happened to be Eli Roth, and he was writing Cabin Fever at the time. And if anybody doesn't know, you look up Eli Roth, he's one of the biggest directors that are out there these days.
Oh, yeah, the Bear Jew.
The Bear Jew, exactly. Here we go with the Jews. Anyway, Eli Roth was his overnight PA, and that's the only time I saw him because I dropped Howard off. I picked him up. So
are you saying Howard had gay sex with Eli Roth?
Oh,
my God, Steve.
I would like to say that.
This is crazy.
Front page news, baby. I told you I'd deliver.
This is insane. What an accusation.
Well, no, it's going to get interesting. So Howard, didn't have any contact. Like once he was in the apartment, that was it. And at the rap party, Eli Roth and Mary McCormick had a really bizarre, close relationship. And I was like, I didn't say homework.
Oh, Grillo is a feisty one.
Yeah, I'm feisty right now. I'm so hot tonight. Mary must have been up at the apartment.
So you think maybe a threesome happened?
I wouldn't say
these are all speculation.
He wasn't involved in the whole mix, I don't think. But it was just odd why does Eli know Mary so well?
I would think Howard would just sit on the chair like that chair in the hotel room and just look at the bed and go, go get her, Eli. Go get her.
I didn't understand how they were like so close.
Yeah,
and it made me go, All right. Mary must have been up at the apartment. All right. But
that's interesting.
Yeah. So that's an interesting story. Come on, no one.
But you were there. You were in studio for a lot of the just insanity. Girls, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And were you ever able to close a deal on one of those? Who is the?
Yeah. There's always a story. There's that one girl that me and God rest his soul, Ralph brought back to my apartment, and I ran out of the room screaming, "I'll never have a threesome with another man ever."
Oh, did you try? But was like
with
Ralph?
With Ralph.
Oh,
and it's really hot stripper that we brought back from Scores. And I gave her my room for the night, and I slept in Ganji's bed.
With Ganji?
No, he wasn't there.
Oh, sorry.
I literally, it just wasn't for me, man. I just
no. Well, anyway, they're telling us you got to go, Steve. No, I have segments. I have network.
I know. Let's have fun. Did I blow it? I turned
no, you didn't. You're wonderful. The book, Gorilla Parts, available everywhere. Steve,
I have your number. You have mine. Let's call.
Yeah, I'm so sorry.
I John Stewart again.
Oh, that would be
Don't
so much fun.
Don't worry about the cursing. It's all good. We'll be right back after.
This is New York's talk leader, the crown jewel of talk radio. WABC New York and 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays. 77 WABC News starts now.
77 WABC News, 59 past the hour. It's 41 and cloudy on this Sunday, March 23rd. Good evening. I'm Liz Radavali. Columbia University is changing its policies amid a dispute with President Donald Trump over federal funding. Trump recently revoked $400 million worth of funds over pro-Palestinian protests happening on the school's campus. On Friday, Columbia announced they're changing some policies, including restricting the locations where protests are allowed, banning masks at protests, and giving police more power to arrest students. The university also giving their office of provost more authority in disciplining students and reviewing the curriculum in classes about the Middle East. A Brooklyn dean of students is under arrest.
Everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries.
77 WABC Newsroom.
Wireless storage modem on the coast.
You may be overpaid, but here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Blue in
Switch
North
to
Mountwood is one of the last
Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saved in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-RECHARGE@consumercellular.com or phone your new and start saving today. Plans include regular credit or auto pay.
I would love to see the Kevin Blue either stay in a motel or become a condo where a motel room is converted to a condo unit.
The current owners say they have tried, but keeping everyone happy comes with a pretty big price tag.
Presidential motel for the last 20 years. Unfortunately, former Congressman Peter King about the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine generating more.
Entertaining talk for New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, and the world. An American original. Talk Radio 77 WABC at WABCRadio.com. You're listening to one of the most iconic stations in the nation. An American original. Talk Radio 77 WABC at WABCRadio.com. This is 77 WABC Newsroom Extra. Now, here's business expert Joe Connolly.
Jeff Chinman, the owner of Broadway Kitchens and Baths in Manhattan and New Jersey, told me customers are very worried about higher costs from tariffs. But then he mentioned one of their specialties, making small or closed-off kitchens seem larger. And I thought that might be of interest to some. Here he is.
Raise the cabinets a couple inches higher so you get a little bit more backsplash, and it just feels more roomy. That's one thing.
The second is about the appliances.
So I like to shrink the refrigerator to like 24 or 27 inches wide if possible, 30 inches maximum, and also the dishwasher.
And these changes create others.
You have a little more countertop space, and you get a little bit wider drawer. It's all about how many drawers you have.
He says glass cabinet doors and light-colored paint will also make it feel like you have more space. Joe Connolly, 77 WABC News.
This is 77 WABC Newsroom Extra. Now, here's business expert Joe Connolly.
Jeff Chinman, the owner of Broadway Kitchens and Baths in Manhattan and New Jersey, told me customers are very worried about higher costs from tariffs. But then he mentioned one of their specialties, making small or closed-off kitchens seem larger. And I thought that might be of interest to some. Here he is.
Raise the cabinets a couple inches higher so you get a little bit more backsplash, and it just feels more roomy. That's one thing.
The second is about the appliances.
So I like to shrink the refrigerator to like 24 or 27 inches wide if possible, 30 inches maximum, and also the dishwasher.
And these changes create others.
You have a little more countertop space, and you get a little bit wider drawer. It's all about how many drawers you have.
He says glass cabinet doors and light-colored paint will also make it feel like you have more space. Joe Connolly, 77 WABC News.
77 WABC presents Echoes of the Unknown. Tales from the bizarre and extraordinary. Here's James Golden
1934, the Highlands of Scotland, and Robert Kenneth Wilson, a London gynecologist, takes the infamous photo of the Loch Ness Monster that has been viewed worldwide and is now known as the surgeon's photograph. Perhaps the most famous alleged photo of the creature. For 60 years, the photo was considered evidence of the monster's existence, but since 1994, most agree that the photo was an elaborate hoax. But recently, officials at a museum dedicated to Loch Ness, Scotland's world-renowned body of water and home to the so-called Loch Ness Monster, have announced the first potential sighting of the elusive beast in 2025. Photos showing a black mass slithering underneath the chilly waters of the famous lake were handed over to the Loch Ness Center in Inverness by a witness who provided a photograph as evidence. Thanks to favorable weather, the sighting is said to have lasted several minutes. Independent research organization Loch Ness Exploration encouraged truth seekers to keep up their efforts and keep sharing their findings too. One expert seemed to cast doubt on the countless theories after some good-natured prodding from Prince William. During a visit to Nature Metrics, a research lab near London, the heir to the British throne asked if the institution's ability to extract environmental DNA or eDNA from water and other natural substances meant they'd been able to answer the nagging Nessie question. Firm founder Cat Bruce then claimed that the so-called creature was more likely a very big eel. Does the Loch Ness Monster exist? Will we ever know definitively? In the murky depths of Loch Ness, you can hear the echoes of the unknown.
More of the music you want to hear is on Music Radio 77 WABC. Plus dozens of other top stars and continuing entertainment presented by Cousin Brucey, Vinny Matunio, Tony Orlando, Joe Piscopo. Music is our WABC. Talk Radio 77 WABC. Talk Radio 77 WABC. This is the Anthony Cumia Show.
Welcome back to the Anthony Cumia Show. Oh, hi. Anthony Cumia Show. Well, at least we tested out the dump button system. That was good to get that whole thing out of the way. Make sure that any cursing that goes on can easily be dispensed with. Steve Grillo. Yeah, I talked to Steve earlier today on the phone real quick, and I was like, oh boy, this is going to be interesting. I love Steve. He's an animal. So Steve Grillo, get his book Gorilla Parts, available where you get your finer literature, I'm certain. Let's do some phone calls. It's been so long since I've been able to I don't know, talk to people that don't like me, maybe, that have differing opinions of me. I've been on satellite radio, I've been on internet radio, all things that people subscribe to, and they listen to you because they adore you. Now, maybe not so much. We'll see, though. I would love to talk to Donald from Ontario, Canada. There's an O in there, but I know it's Ontario. The 51st state. Donald, what's up, my friend?
Hey, how's it going, man? It's Don Lucher. I pop into your Gulf Stream occasionally with the great Rex Kramer.
Oh, yes, of course. See, I game. I'm out of the demo for gaming, but I game a lot. And you're in Ontario.
Yeah, sadly I am.
How do you feel about everything going on with Trump saying it's 51st state? You got a new head muckety-muck up there. You got Michael Myers with his new white hair saying that he's Canadian and not American. What's going on?
Yeah, I hate him all, but I love Trump. Anyway, I just wanted to get into your show and how professional and smooth that it's going. It's so amazing. I expect at any moment that Ryan and Sean will break in mid-sentence with their microphone at like 11 and just ruin it all.
That would be my internet show, yes, where people in the background and the behind the scenes chime in with things. But I want to say thank you, and I also want to say that is only because of the amazing crew that I have working for me up in New York, and it could all fall apart in a matter of moments. So I'm just keeping my fingers crossed, knocking wood, and holding it together.
I just wanted to let you know how I actually discovered you. That's right, ladies and gentlemen in America. I discovered Anthony Cumia. No, just kidding. I actually discovered you on YouTube maybe about 5 years ago, pre-Scamdemic, and I binge-watched everything. I instantly liked you, and then I was left with, well, how do I watch this stuff?
Thank you, Donald from Ontario. We're going to move on a little because we only have so much time, and this is actually a big radio station. This isn't just the internet. I can't just get calls of people kissing my ass all day. Get off my phone. The great Bob Grant. It's all I could think about, being on radio in New York and thinking about Bob Grant taking those calls and go, get off my, you svachim, I'll punch your nose down your throat. He was always great. This guy wants to talk about Rosie O'Donnell, or girl Jacqueline. Jacqueline from Brooklyn. How are you, ma'am?
Hi, Anthony. I'm doing just fine. I had a comment on what you said about Rosie O'Donnell. I, for one, am very glad that she has gone to Ireland, has left the United States. I hope she never comes back. I hope she stays there forever. And actually, I have a list of a few people that I hope would join her, either there or elsewhere in the world. Number one being Cher, and number two being Jimmy Kimmel. Let him get the heck out of the country. He never has anything good to say about President Trump or anything that's going on. They all need to go.
Yeah, nothing that happens, they have any compliments to Trump. Believe me, if a president was that bad, look, and I understand you could disagree with a lot of things the president does, but if he was as bad as they profess him to be, the country would be falling apart. Like where you could really see it, not how they say it's terrible. Everybody's broke, and he's taking away Social Security, and none of that's happening. Elon and Trump are trying to find out where the corruption is, where the money, where our taxpayers' money went, and they're all dummies. A lot of these people that decided they're leaving, like Rosie, Richard Gere decided. Him and his wife, what a beard that is. They're going to Spain, where I hope the gerbil population goes into hiding. I don't even know how that rumor got started. It was before the internet. You know the whole Richard Gere thing, Jacqueline? You ever hear about that?
No, I didn't. This is the first time I'm hearing this.
How old a gal are you? And this isn't trying to, insult you in any way. I just want to know, because the Richard Gere reference is really, really old.
Well, it's funny you should mention him, because I watched that movie Arbitrage with him just last night. I'm going into my 6th decade, so I'm no kid. But I just don't ever remember hearing that.
How the hell do you not know? Did you ever work in an office where those faxes went around and people would hang them up, the funny little comments?
No, I didn't.
Okay. No. Because it turns out Richard Gere, there was a rumor going around that Richard Gere liked to do things with gerbils, and they would go up what was called the flesh habit trail.
I've heard about that in certain circles. Yeah,
the running wheel might as well have been a prostate. Mm-hmm. If you're getting what I'm saying, that's what. Yeah, see, that's what the rumor has been, and it went around before anyone ever had the internet and the ability to really put stuff out there like that. But that's Richard Gere. And then who else? Who else is leaving? Ellen DeGeneres and Portia de Rossi.
Goodbye. Good riddance.
Goodbye. You know what's weird? Why don't they ever go to, I don't know, the Sudan, Somalia, the Congo, South Africa? Why do they always leave America and go to these places where they're living on a huge farm, have mansions like they had here in America,
Because, by the way, Donald Trump, their reason is Donald Trump's so awful, he's trying to get third world people out of this country, but they aren't moving to these wonderful third world nations. I just don't understand it.
Yeah, well, they want to be able to have their agenda, their liberal agenda, and many of these countries where they're going to, they promote these liberal agendas, and they can continue living in the lifestyle to which they are accustomed without any judgments like in the Middle East would impose on them.
Great. You got it. I love it. Jacqueline, thank you so much for the call. Be well, my dear. Here's a Mike. Mike. Oh, did he drop? Yeah. I must have hit the wrong button. I'm getting used to this, too. Here's a Keith from Florida. Keith?
Anthony,
How you
great
doing,
show.
man? Thank you, my
I'm
friend.
50. I'll be 56.
God bless.
And I gotta admit, I was a Stern guy. My whole
We all were.
O&A came out, and I was like, it's for the younger generation. I'm Gen X, obviously.
Yeah, we were just a couple of brash young kids, Keith.
Yeah, right. But I gotta tell you, I love the show, but when you had Steve on, and he dropped the F, I'm like, oh no, the show's going to be off the air forever. I'm like, no. Steve, what? It was like slow motion. I'm like, Steve, what did you do?
I knew. You know, they took care of it back in the mix.
I just picture the legal team running down the hall like, no, but cut it.
Yeah.
But Anthony, I gotta tell you, I met Howard. He came to McGuire. I'm retired Air Force.
Oh, okay.
And he came to the base in '91 after Desert Storm, which I'm a veteran of. Not a big deal. I did
Thank you for your service.
Oh, Anthony,
Thank you for
come
your
on.
service. Were you a Navy SEAL? Were you a
No.
frogman in Vietnam? Because I was a fighter. I was a governor.
Jesse, listen.
Right, we get it, Jesse.
I know. Enough with the Navy SEALs. Come on. I mean, you would never know I was in the military. All I have is a shed about the size of a shoebox of my ribbons. That's it. But I want to share with you. I met him, and he kissed my boots. It's on the Channel 9 show if you look up YouTube. But, man, what a fraud.
Yeah. He is a fraud.
Really, there's a channel on YouTube, which I do watch you, by the way. Little plug.
Thank you, sir.
But, no, thank you. And there's a channel on their QF, and it's like they decipher the errors, and it really breaks down like, what was I listening to for 20, 30 years? And I'm thinking, this guy's the greatest. And I'm like, if it wasn't for Jackie and Artie,
Fred was
there's
great.
no show.
Artie. Yeah, it was weird. It almost feels like you were, well, you know what the truth of the matter is? Let's be real. We were a lot younger then.
Yeah.
A lot of the material was shocking and tittillating and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, and we got older. We grew out of it. You know, it kind of, that's what happened.
Absolutely. And I was thinking about, if Steve was still on, I was going to say, Steve, it was funny when he did Gunga Din. Oh, God. But now I look at it, it's like, I cringe. I'm like, that's not funny. It's kind of like demeaning.
Yeah, well, a lot of the stuff was demeaning, but it worked back then. I'm never going to say it didn't work. I listened all the time, and a lot of people did.
Yes, sir. So did I.
You know, it's just kind of hard to watch him in his 70s now, trying to, stay relevant. It's a little sad.
I got serious because of him, and I canceled serious because of him. Go figure.
Luck. How did you do that? That's a tough chore to try to cancel that. Boy, they stick like a leech. They try to keep you in there.
I spoke to people from America and Canada, it was easy.
Yeah. Well, all right. Thanks, Keith, from the great state of Florida. Thank you.
Yeah, well, I'm moving back.
Uh-oh. He was going to tell me where he's moving back to. That would have been, just so compelling. But we had to let him go. I'll take one more before we, I got time. Let me see. 17 there. No, I don't. I don't. It just said time's up. We'll be right back after these words.
This is the Anthony Cumia Show.
This is Joe
Judge Janine Pirro with an important message. A mom and her son were being followed by a man in a parking lot. As he approached their car, she pulled out her Byrna launcher, and the sight of it was enough to make him flee. Byrna gives you the power to protect your family without lethal force. No permits, no background checks, just peace of mind. Visit Byrna.com and use code Janine for 10% off. Remember, Byrna isn't legal in New York City or Yonkers. Stay safe, stay prepared with Byrna.
Donate now to Toys for Tots, working year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program, established in 2008, has provided over 60 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org. The following is a paid commercial announcement.
Hello, I'm Mike Huckabee. President Trump has made history and is back in the White House. And your kids need to know what this means for their future and our country. That's why they need the Kids Guide to President Trump. This fun guide will teach your kids all about President Trump's accomplishments and his plan to save America and make it great again. And right now, I want you to have it for free.
To order, visit TrumpForKids.com. That's TrumpForKids.com. Visit TrumpForKids.com now.
I love My Patriot Cigar Company. Premium hand-rolled cigars blended by some of the best master blenders in the industry, using the finest aged tobacco from Nicaragua. 4 different blends and complexities to satisfy any palate. Get the Patriot Cigar 5-cigar sampler pack free when you spend $100 or more using promo code STONE. 5 free cigars on orders over $100 with free shipping. MyPatriotCigars.com. Promo code STONE. MyPatriotCigars.com. A premium smoke for freedom-loving patriots.
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Cop Talk with Captain Ed Mamet and Detective Kevin Schroeder.
We have a good guest from the West Coast, Las Vegas, Nevada. His name is Alan Goodrich. I understand you're also involved in raising funds for the Wounded Blue.
I had a hostage rescue at work where I got into a shooting and took a man's life. My personal life was just taking a real sharp downward spiral, and some of the things that were going on. I started journaling. Just kind of therapy was my journaling, and telling stories throughout my career of cool things that I had seen. And the journaling kind of evolved into, essentially a book. The people who helped work on the fine-tuning of it said, hey, there's a lot of potential in this. You're going to make a lot of money on this. And so I just kind of didn't feel right about earning money off of someone else's stories. I made a decision to donate the proceeds to Randy Sutton's Wounded Blue. Now I'm making money for a good cause.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. WABC New York and 107.1 WLIR-FM Hampton Bays. WABC!
This is 77 WABC Newsroom Extra.
First, Interstate 80 at exit 34 in Morton, New Jersey was shut down in December to repair a sinkhole in the eastbound lanes. Old mine shafts were to blame, but it's turned into a bigger job than expected. A second one opened up in February. Pop's Bagels on the Route 15 detour is offering a consolation prize to frustrated drivers.
We're doing any size coffee for 80 cents. For Route 80 closure, 80-cent coffee.
Then, in mid-March, another sinkhole appeared, this time closing the westbound lanes.
It's over 2 hours today, so normally for like 45 minutes. It's backing up a lot, especially over here, trying to get towards 15. Yeah, it's not great.
Governor Phil Murphy has declared a state of emergency in an effort to get federal funding for the repair work. The series of sinkholes started back in December when an abandoned mine shaft caused a collapse in the roadway. I'm Lisa Ritchie for 77 WABC News.
Show. Now, fake news, folks. Fake news. It's the fake news. Fake stories. News moment.
Fake news, fake news. Pretty much everything is, especially if you get it from your mainstream media. But the Dems are really trying to fight back. This is, by the way, pathetic and hilarious when you see it, because they're not really fighting back. They're a one play in their playbook team. They get up there, they do the same thing over and over again. They never admit that perhaps their platform, what they've been saying, just aren't really going over with the general public, with the American people. But they won't stop it. They won't apologize for anything. And they honestly think that they are right. They know the reality of it is everyone loves them. They love the Democrats. And their fake news poll numbers always say that they're the most popular political party, and somehow Trump won the popular vote and the Electoral College, but somehow the Democrats' policies poll in the 70, 80 percentile, which we know is just garbage. There's no way. And they go out there, and they've been parading out all of these Democrats, and it's funny to watch. The best couple now is the Bernie AOC thing. Like, who saw that coming out of left field? They're trying anything. So Bernie and AOC get out there, and they start talking to the people, and people start speculating, is this the 2028 Democrat ticket? Yeah, another, ancient guy that who knows how long before his mind gives out, like Biden, and a woman of color. We need a woman of color. So AOC. So again, they're just trying to do a rerun of the 2020 election. But this is great. This is a great example of the what the Democrats are trying to do. Tim Walz, I don't know what's with this guy. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's a joke, flailing around on the stage as the vice presidential candidate in the Harris-Walz campaign. They lose miserably. And he's all of a sudden, he's out and talking like people loved him. He's out there trying to win over the people. They don't like you. You're not likable. You don't have good ideas. Your policies, whatever they were, we didn't even really get to know what the policies of the Harris-Walz was. And now he's getting out and talking like he knows. And the American people, by the way, 100% behind him. This is a joke. Listen to this clip, and you tell me this isn't complete bull.
We already got a great start on this. The vast majority of the American public. Look, I'm going to just tell you this one. This is my thinking on this as I'm trying to figure out, soul search, and get out of the wilderness. That issues security, issues like rights for all, LGBTQ, issues like women's reproductive rights, issues like smart gun reforms to not kill our children, those things, all those things. Or like free breakfast and lunch in Minnesota. Republicans here in Minnesota, all those things, and in D.C. Social Security. Here's what we should recognize. All those things I just listed, if you poll them amongst the general public, all of them poll above 70%. All of them poll 70%. So I would make the case to you that we who care about this, I don't care what you want to define us, if I believe that progress is a good thing, so I'll take the progressive label because I think you're moving forward. That's a good thing. But
Moving forward. All right.
We've won the hearts and minds.
He says 70%. All of those Democrat talking points, they're just bullcrap points. Polled with the American people, 70%. Do you honestly believe that? These are the same polls that had Harris winning, beating Trump, winning all the swing states. An amazing victory. The same polls. He gets up there, and again, not changing a thing, not saying, hey, wow, we better start changing the way the Democratic Party is presenting themselves to the American people, because they do not like us, and they really don't like what our policies were, to the point where they elected, what they see as a Führer. It's crazy. And what does he do? He gets back out on stage and just keeps repeating the same nonsense that he was saying during their failed campaign. And this is just par for the course for these people. They don't understand. We don't want your policies. We don't want what you had to offer. We're exposing you for the literal criminals that you are. That's what they've been doing for many, many years, stealing from the American people. And then they lambaste the people that are trying to expose that and save the American taxpayer money, like Musk and Trump. And they get up on stage and say, no, 70% of the people love our policies. Do we? I don't think we do. Be right back. Anthony Cumia.
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Building Bridges, that which unites us. A thought-provoking new podcast hosted by Michael Hirschman, CEO of Solaviv Group.
I'm Michael Hirschman. Join me as I tackle vital local and national topics that affect the man on the street all the way to the executive suite.
Go to buildingbridges.nyc to watch episodes or download wherever you get your podcasts. Buildingbridges.nyc. Greg Kelly here with an urgent retirement warning. Even as President Trump stands up to China, billionaires are fleeing Wall Street, but I trust the experts at Colonial Metals Group to help you. So visit freegoldguide.com/Kelly or call 800-655-5186 for your free gold guide on how to bulletproof your IRA and 401k with tax-free gold. You can also qualify for a free home safe and as much as $7,500 in free silver. Once again, that's freegoldguide.com/Kelly.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you, and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
This is a 77 WABC News Sid and Friends in the Morning update. This week on the show, Robert Corticelli, former congressional candidate, details why the president should award Sid the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Sid, you don't have to carry a weapon to be a hero.
And Sid sparred with former Congressman Peter King about the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine.
Why do you think all these...
Thank you very much. Thank you. A new Sid and Friends in the Morning tomorrow, 6 a.m. on 77 WABC. Radio 77 WABC. You're listening to one of the most iconic stations in the nation. An American original. Talk Radio 77 WABC and WABCRadio.com. You can depend on us. Enable the 77 WABC Alexa skill at home. Download the 77 WABC mobile app on your phone. Don't miss a minute. Talk Radio 77 WABC. There's perspective.
You just gotta keep an open mind.
And then there's New York perspective.
This is a country in deep trouble.
That's the real America. Talk Radio 77 WABC. Sid and Friends in the morning, right and the left. The best talk every day and music on the weekends. We are the world famous 77 WABC. It's the Anthony Cumia Show. They were doing what they were paid to do. Shot.
Welcome back. Anthony Cumia Show. Let's talk to Sandra from the great Garden State of New Jersey. Sandra, what's up?
Oh, well, first of all, it's a pleasure to have you on the air now every week. I look forward to listening to you. Yes, it is. You're welcome. And you were talking about the Democrats, how they'll never own up to who they are. Well, we saw that. We saw that obviously at Donald Trump's last speech when he spoke about the little boy DJ who had cancer and how none of them stood up, and for all the other reasons that so we saw that they are, I don't know what you want, soulless, and I don't think it's going to ever change. And it's a sad, sad situation. And now going forward, the judges are becoming tainted.
Activist judges. That's what it is. Activist
they're
judges.
very bad.
And they
so
sit
what are we
there.
going to do, Anthony?
Well, we're doing it
in a
sense. I'm just worried in, 3 and some odd years when we have another election that, Trump is an anomaly. This is, I hope it's not just a speed bump on the road to ruin that we've been on for quite a while, and then it goes back to business as usual, because it does not look like these Democrats ever want to actually look at what American people want, address it, and implement it when they get into power. Like you said, they wouldn't even stand for a kid that had cancer because they hate, their hatred of Donald Trump is so much that it transcends decency. They're awful people, Sandra.
Yes, they are. I know, and it saddens me to see what's happening with Elon Musk, how cruel they are to his business.
Brilliant man.
It just breaks my heart.
Crucified. It's terrible. Yeah. Sandra, thank you so much for the call. I appreciate
your
support.
Anthony.
Take care, darling. Take care, darling. Here she goes. There's a few other things going on. First, I want to bring up, again, the movie thing. Like, I get annoyed with the recasting and things like that. But every so often something happens in the entertainment business that is just, it's delicious. And this Snow White disaster is great because people go, why do you care about Snow White? I don't. I wouldn't have seen it if it was the greatest Snow White movie ever made. But it's a vibe. It's a sense of stuff that's going on right now. We're in a whole new world here where it's not all about woke nonsense. People with common sense have opened their eyes, ears, and mouths, and they're starting to say things and do things. And when a movie comes out that was supposed to be a kid's movie, this is out of Disney, and they had to get their woke paws all over it. And, Snow White, it literally says, it's from some German literature. And it says, like, her skin is white as snow. Now you think, who cares? It's 2025. We could diversify the cast a little bit. But it's so insincere in its innocence, because it's not an innocent gesture to cast other people of other races in these roles. It's meant to upset people. It's meant to, I don't know, maybe change history. Hey, maybe if other people weren't so upset when someone takes a role or say they jump out and say that's cultural appropriation, maybe then we would sit back and go, okay, I see that. But, we see things like Hamilton, and we see other things where traditionally they are white people cast in these roles, and minorities. Again, I wouldn't care if it wasn't such a problem when a white girl decides to wear braids. It's just, it seems a little hypocritical. But this movie is tanking, just God. And I love it, because there's another one, Alto Nights, with Robert De Niro. That came out, and people just can't stand De Niro. Look, the movie could be meh, but if De Niro was in it, you'd probably see it. I think even Rocky and Bullwinkle made money, and he was in that, so God knows. But this one, I play a dual role, an exciting dual role, and it's just terrible. And people are, they're not supporting Donald Trump anymore because he's a woke jackass who thinks he knows everything and wants to tell us how to live our lives. So I don't know. But this Snow White thing's pretty funny. Do you know initially they didn't even want to cast dwarves? They said no dwarves will be cast. We're not casting actual people as dwarves. We're going to use just people. One guy's tall, one guy's short, one guy. This was initially, and they had some tests, and it did not go well. People were like, 7 dwarves. We want dwarves. So then they were talking about hiring dwarves. And of course, that doesn't wash these days. For what reason? I have no idea. I have no idea. Game of Thrones did very well with a dwarf character. He was beloved and not looked at as a freak. It was he's a great actor. And it went very well for him in the show. But now you got, they They had to put in CGI cartoony dwarves. Why? There's plenty of people of short stature that would have liked that role, I think. And call them midgets. That's what they are. I know. Why did you make computer midgets? I see these things everywhere. They're walking the streets. You hand them $5, they're in your movie. It's a midget. I can understand you need a dinosaur. You need a wolf man. You use your computer. Your FBI. You put it in the computer. Midgets. I see them all over. Give me $20. I'll get 7 of them over here. 10 minutes. 10 minutes. They don't get it. Midgets want to work. Short people, people of short stature. What are they called? Little people. That's what it's called. The little people, Jerry. They call them little people. I don't know. It just seems more racist than when they try not to be racist. That's pretty much what happens. Anyway, there's another story here that making the news, and this is something that it happens a lot, and you really don't want to dwell on it too much or defend the guy too much because it seems like you're misogynistic and you're not believing a woman that claims she was, here it comes, sexually assaulted. So the guy, you know the guy from Impractical Jokers, Joe Gatto? No, it's Joe Gatto, not Joe Gatto. Joe Gatto, he was accused of sexual assault. Not like improprieties or harassment or anything. This is sexual assault. And he's denying it. But he did say he went through some crazy times. It was a TikToker, Juzib. I love the TikTok names. Michael Hunt. She claims in March 20th that she was sexually assaulted by the comedian 48 when she was 19 in 2023. Oh boy. And then he says, I swear to you right now, my phone is buzzing. It's Grillo trying to call me. Does he not know I'm still doing a program? Oh boy. He goes, I used to poor judgment and as a result have violated the trust of the people I love most, because he's married or he was in some kind of a separation maybe. But he goes, anyone that knows me at all knows full well I would not assault anyone. He goes, he's working on himself. I'm working on myself. It's an ongoing process, and I'm now going to take some time away from the public eye to focus my energies where I need to. I've always loved that one. That one's like rehab, you know? That one's like, they're going into rehab. If you go into rehab because you got in trouble for something, and all of a sudden you realize now maybe I need to be rehabilitated, that's a hell of a coincidence. Usually people go to rehab when it's, if you're a big celebrity, I guess, certain things can happen and you go, oh boy, I better go to rehab. But most people hit a bottom, they realize that they go through rehab a couple of times, and then it works or it doesn't. It's a lifelong struggle, whatever it is. But people that go to rehab or get out of the public eye immediately after a controversy pops up, it's all garbage. I know. I had to do the same thing. I had some legal issues with a young lady a few years ago, back in 2015, I think it was. And it was all garbage nonsense. It went through the legal system, and nothing amounted to it. But I had to go to rehab because it was, hey, we need you to go to rehab, Anthony. I'm like, why? I'm fine. Which everyone that has to go to rehab says, but I knew I was. So my one of the guys I worked with, Keith, the cop, he goes, I got a good line on a good rehab place from Artie Lang. Yes, Artie Lang recommended the rehab place I went to. Do you think it was a good rehab place, or do you think it was a good place to hang out with people? So I went through all that stuff. But a month later, at the airport, flying back home, I went to the bar and got a bud. It's not something you sincerely do when you're in trouble and it makes you look better. Rehab, or I'm leaving the public eye. I'm spending more time with my family, whatever it may be. But this guy, Joe Gatto, he's in a bit of a jam. He says this girl, Juzib, shared screenshots of the pair alleged DM exchanges on Instagram. These girls, for God's sake, where Gatto allegedly told her that he was giving her 2 meet-greet passes so she could come backstage. A typical gag. She posted a photo of her and Gatto together. Gatto split from his wife, Bessie, in 2001. Or 2021, I'm sorry. After 8 years of marriage, due to some issues in my personal life, I have stepped away, he said. Where's the other part where he says, he has proven with compassion, forgiveness, and an open heart that we can do this together with his significant other. But these girls, he gave her a text and said, come up to my hotel room. And then she goes, that's where the sexual assault happened. Ladies, do I even have to say this? Is this something that hasn't been said 1,000 times? If you are having a provocative exchange with text or DMs or anything with a guy, and it starts sounding a little sexual, and they invite you to their room or their house or their car, wherever it is, this white veal, you can pound it, it'll never get tender. Just watch Casino and see what Pesci did in his car. So if you step out to a car or an apartment, a house, a hotel room, you are putting yourself in a situation that is going to be very difficult to justify if you claim sexual assault or harassment or what have you. I would never say it doesn't happen, but it certainly seems like something preventable that you could not go. What do you think the intentions are? Can I really just put it straight to girls here? If a guy invites you back to their room in a hotel when they're touring or doing something, this guy's a comic, it's not to sit and chit-chat about your latest hobbies or to talk about, your TikTok videos or what he can do for you because he's in show business in some way. There's a definite presumption of some type of sexual activity going on there. It's a goddamn hotel room. What are you thinking? And this happens so often. And by the way, the girl will always get the benefit of the doubt. And the guy will get in trouble. You've seen these articles come out. It's like, oh, the lady was drunk. And when a girl is drunk, she cannot possibly give consent to have sexual activities with the guy. And then they go, well, the guy was drunk too. Yeah, he should have known better. What? How does that work? The girl gets drunk. She's the vulnerable victim. The guy gets drunk. He should know better. We only hear about, equality and glass ceilings being broken and women have a place in anywhere a man goes, anything a man does, any little clubs he's involved in. A man's go, this seems like a boys' club. I got to get my snout in there and ruin everything. If you're doing that, if you're going up to a man's room or to his house, so many celebrities and sports guys have been victim of this. And like I said, I have to assume that in some circumstances, maybe the offer was put across to the lady to come up for something that had nothing to do with a physical relationship. That is the just anomaly. That is something that statistically is zero. Women should know when a guy invites them up to their room, they at least expect to be able to make some moves. It's not like sex is going to happen, girls, but at least be open to a guy trying to make it happen. Going to be charming. Maybe he'll have some drinks up there for you. Maybe some good conversation at first. It's making you laugh. The opportunity to do that, not just get up and the door gets shut and locked and an assault happens. I'm not saying that. But these girls, boy, they better be a little more aware of what the presumption is when they come up to these rooms. Anyway, that's my 2 cents. We'll be right back. Anthony Cumia Show.
It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Hey, it's Joe Piscopo. Take your listening room to the next level with Verdant Audio. That's VERDANT Audio, helping build the perfect listening room in your home with experts to help put together your dream sound system. Verdant Audio experts help you select the perfect gear with equipment you will not find anywhere else. No intimidation, just passionate people who love extraordinary sound. Transform your listening experience. Visit verdantaudio.com. Explore their collection and book your consultation today.
1877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Donate today at carsforkids.org. Your car, running or not, can be picked up as soon as the next day. No titles, no problem. Go to carsforkids.org today.
1877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Now accepting donations of land, homes, buildings, or any kind of real estate.
This is 77 WABC Newsroom Extra. Now, here's business expert Joe Connolly.
Jeff Chinman, the owner of Broadway Kitchens and Baths in Manhattan and New Jersey, told me customers are very worried about higher costs from tariffs. But then he mentioned one of their specialties, making small or closed-off kitchens seem larger. And I thought that might be of interest to some. Here he is.
Raise the cabinets a couple inches higher so you get a little bit more backsplash, and it just feels more roomy. That's one thing.
The second is about the appliances.
So I like to shrink the refrigerator to like 24 or 27 inches wide as possible, 30 inches maximum, and also the dishwasher.
And these changes create others.
You have a little more countertop space, and you get a little bit wider drawer. It's all about how many drawers you have.
He says glass cabinet doors and light-colored paint will also make it feel like you have more space. Joe Connolly, 77 WABC News.
Listen to this podcast now on the Red Apple Podcast Network. Cop Talk with Captain Ed Mamet and Detective Kevin Schroeder.
We have a good guest from the West Coast, Las Vegas, Nevada. His name is Alan Goodrich. I understand you're also involved in raising funds for the Wounded Blue.
I had a hostage rescue at work where I got into a shooting and took a man's life. My personal life was just taking a real sharp downward spiral, and some of the things that were going on. I started journaling. Just kind of therapy was my journaling, and telling stories throughout my career of cool things that I had seen, and the journaling kind of evolved into, essentially a book. The people who helped work on the fine-tuning of it said, hey, there's a lot of potential in this. You're going to make a lot of money on this. And so I just kind of didn't feel right about earning money off of someone else's stories. I made a decision to donate the proceeds to Randy Sutton's Wounded Blue. Now I'm making money for a good cause.
Download all of Red Apple Media's podcasts right now through your favorite podcast platform. Whipping out free speech. It's the Anthony Cumia Show.
Welcome back. Yes. The Trump has decided to, as the Democrats say, abolish
The Department of Education. Not totally true. There's still some parts of the Department of Education he's going to keep. Things that actually do something. They look at it and go, what parts of this department are actually working and doing something? And then you keep that, and then you throw away all the other garbage that isn't working, which is a large chunk of the Department of Education. And then you'll hear people on the left, celebrities and talk show hosts, saying that, that figures. Why wouldn't you get rid of the Department of Education? It's teaching our kids, and is it really? Because every statistic I've looked at from 1979, from its inception, the Department of Education, it wasn't always there. There was plenty of time. We went, the United States did not have a Department of Education, and test scores were way up. You had students coming out of the high schools that could actually read and write. Amazing. Do math? What? They weren't just pushed along. They actually were learning things because the curriculum was based on what the states thought was best for their students. They weren't beholden and locked to this federal nonsense that is the Department of Education, which has just turned into an indoctrination camp for kids going through primary school. So, yeah, Jimmy Carter. At the end of 79, like he's just ready to get thrown out of office. Good old Ron Reagan. Well, we should get rid of this nonsense. But no, Jimmy Carter puts it in there, and then for some reason, everyone kept it. Because it sounded bad. It sounded bad for a politician to go, I want to get rid of the Department of Education. And it was too soon. Like, it's not doing anything. Well, you don't know. Give it 5 years. You're going to love this Department of Education. And now we look and realize the United States has never had as low test scores as we have right now. We've never scored so low as far as the rest of the earth goes with the students we're putting out of our school system under this great Department of Education. But they won't fess up to it. The Democrats, they'll just say, look, he's destroying the Department of Education. How are kids supposed to learn? By actually being taught things that they should be taught. Reading, writing, arithmetic, as they used to say, real history, not the crap they're trying to sell everybody in public school these days. So it's a good thing. I see it as a good thing. Well, who doesn't? Liz Warren. She's got that point of view from an idiot that just hears that the Department of Education, they're cutting it, and it must be bad because it's educating people, right? It's right in the name. It's the Department of Education. It must be educating people. No, it's a waste of money that is indoctrinating kids and teaching them nothing that they need once they leave public school. So here's Liz Warren talking about the DOE.
For every school teacher, every public school librarian, every administrator, every school bus driver, everybody who helps educate our kids, you need to know this is the moment we got to stick together and we got to fight back. I don't care if you are a Democrat, a Republican, an independent, a libertarian, a vegetarian, we need you in this fight. This is the fight for an America where it's not just rich kids who get an education and have a chance to build something with their lives, but that every kid in America gets the best education they can so they can build the best lives. But the only way that's going to happen is if we stay in this fight. It is a fight we can win.
Oh, shut up. Shut up. Just listen. First of all, that voice. Talk about education. I remember nails down a chalkboard in school. That voice is the worst. And then again, not one acknowledgement that every aspect of American children's education has gone downhill since the inception of the Department of Education. But they don't see, they can't acknowledge that. They can't say, wow, that's a problem. Liz Warren, we call you one who fell on head out of papoose. She claims to be an Indian. She claims to have the answers. She claims to know where cuts should be made and shouldn't be. Why? Why are you cutting that? We would do that humanitarian. We would do it with more humanitarianism. You had all these years in power. They did nothing. They've done nothing. So, adios. Face like pile of Tatanka crap. Anyway, thank you, everybody. Thanks for hanging in. We will see you back here next week on a Sunday. I appreciate your support as usual. Thanks to Steve Grillo for popping on. And yeah, we'll see you next Sunday. Thank you so much. Thank the staff that helps me out in New York. And bonjour.
This is New York's talk leader, the crown jewel of talk radio. WABC New York and 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays. 77 WABC News starts now.
77 WABC News, 41 and cloudy on this Sunday, March 23rd. Good evening. I'm Liz Radabali. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he won't be stepping down. Appearing on NBC's Meet the Press, the Democratic senator defended his decision